Hello and good morning. This is Jay with GXP. Today we're talking about the Crown of Glory, which is a 3-on-3 tournament for your strongest formation. And you can create your own squad by inviting people, or you can find squads that you can jump into. They're 3-man teams. And let's take a quick look at the ranking. So in the preliminary section, you battle, and it's battling for, I believe it's 3 days. Could be 5, but 3 days until you get where you're eliminated. And the rankings for number 1 are the queens. And these bitches are strong. And this is where Z is, and you can kind of take a look. In Continent 40, Z is, like I said before, one of the strongest players out there, along with the crew of Pitaloo and Madame Coco. So ridiculously strong. And the troop lineup, I don't have the ability to show you their troop lineup just yet. But if you go into battle and your 3 options of battle are listed, you can refresh to see new opponents. And I've got the Damned, Esperance, and DB40D. The first opponent is ranked the highest of your 3 options. The middle is the second highest, and the third is the lowest. And depending on where these ranks are, if you're beating someone that is ranked higher than you, you get the most points. If you're beating someone evenly ranked, like within 1 or 2, it depends on how bad you beat them to get your points up, or how bad they beat you to take your points down. And normally the third rank is the easiest of the 3, but you don't get very many points when you beat them, even if you slaughter them. So you have to understand how that portion of the battle rounds go. So if we just took a look at the Damned, you can view them, and you can look at their formation setups. There is Demon Rex at 100% XP level with 4 stars. Kong, 4 stars, maxed out. And then the Wooly, 4 stars, maxed out. The total troops is 386K, and the total power is listed at 235 million. And once you see the troop, the beast formation, then you see how the troop alignments are. So this one is barbarian focused. So obviously they've got the T10 guards, then the T9 warriors. And then they've layered down multiple various types of other troops just to have additional layers. So that's Damien. And then Crow, running the same barbarian focus formation. T10s for guardians, T9s for warriors, and again layered. All right. And then Viper. All right, so we have the Queen King, Clown, and Mabangus. Mabangus, the crew that I put together has had some success with them. So I'm just going to run through this real quick. And you've got Achilles, which is 361K. It's a behemoth focused. And they're running guards, riders, marauders, and warriors, and some archers. So because it's kind of all over the place, it's not as specific as had they been running a marauder focused troop set for these for the behemoth formation. So I see that as vulnerable, especially vulnerable against riders. And then we've got a 4-star, 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 and this is a barbarian rider mix. And they are set for guards, vanguards, warriors, and they don't have any T9 mounted archers. So I see this one as somewhat vulnerable to I would say a behemoth smash. So if it was a behemoth only formation, you're fairly successful against this split formation because they're not running hero specific troops. And then you have Miracle. Miracle is a behemoth specific squad. formation, and it does have a few Vanguard, a few archers, and it's kind of light in its hero focus of behemoths. So, like I said before, I see this as a little bit vulnerable to a rider attack. So we're going to go ahead and try and challenge them. So me and Chat Killer are running our sets against them, and what we're looking at is how our formations line up to their formations. So we have a barbarian, we have a behemoth focused, which you can see here is primarily T10 Marauders. And then we have a stronger barbarian focused, which basically is 107K T10s and then 200K T9 warriors with a few layers of other troops to help disseminate out how well those barbarians can attack. And then the last one is me, and I'm running a rider specific formation where I have my guardians, my riders, my T9 mounted archers, and I've layered a few others to kind of help distribute across. My heroes in this one are my T9s and my T10 riders. So let's go ahead and give a challenge attack. All right, so I know based upon where they are, I want to view. That's behemoth, so riders. That's a rider barbarian, and that's a. Okay. So what we're gonna do here, our challenge, is this is our behemoth. So barbarians against behemoths. All right, that's what we're going after. All right, so we were able to cut through all three of them. We got 46 points on that victory. And what that did was that took us from our 25th spot to our 17th spot. So that is the Crown of Glory. That's kind of how you're sizing things up. And, you know, if you're not finding the alignments that you want, give yourself a refresh and you'll be able to see your different rankings. You'll be able to see the opponents and you'll be able to view their formations. You just got to kind of find what your three strongest formations are against the formations that you believe you can beat. And some of it is kind of, have to be careful because sometimes these numbers are a little deceiving. Right here, this is 463 million in power, but when you go in here and look, these are all very strong formations. So, you have to kind of size up and look at what each individual formation is, what each individual troop alignment is, and pair yourself against the best opportunity for you to win. That's all I can say about it. And it also gives you a really good chance to see during this tournament who's using what beasts and what troop formations to better help you build your formations to attack them. It's a great tournament for that. And, I've had this round with Chat Killer and myself, we've had much greater success than we have before. And I believe it's because we're starting to really understand our formations and our strengths against specific troop types out there, and then pairing up how best we can beat those specific troops. It's been awesome. I've enjoyed it very much, and this is kind of one of the things that if you don't understand it, you're just going to throw whatever at it. You're never really going to rank very well. When you start to understand it, you as a free-to-play player can really start to position your battles strategically, and you can start to see some success against stronger players. All right, for the Crown of Glory elimination tournament, it basically is the top 16 that have qualified. Let's take a look at the schedule. So at the top, you have the top 8, and at the bottom, you have the next 8. So a total of 16. And in each one of them, you have the two teams. So basically, you are able to look at the team to see what their total power is and also see what their setups are. It's a great way to kind of have insight into the formations that people are having success with. So if we take, I'm just going to jump over to the Queens, and you can see here, they're at 1.3 million, and they are a wrecking crew. Like I said before, man, they hit hard. So, just a quick look, all 5-star, maxed out behemoth formation. Same, maxed out behemoth formation. Same, maxed out behemoth formation. And if you'll notice right here, there are T11s in play right here. Z is a killer. Let's look at some of the lower ranking. We have Suicide Squad at 477 mil. This team, which is 463 mil. We have the A team at 401 mil. So you have some lower ranking teams that you want to kind of see where they're at. And IROM, this is deceiving. Don't let it fool you. All right, 356K. They are running a behemoth formation, and they have both T10 Guardians and T10 Marauders. It's pretty strong. So it's kind of deceiving to see the power at 96K, 96 million, because it crushes. Then Brundy's a crusher. 200, almost 300,000 in T10 Marauders. So they're running a behemoth formation. And then Garruk, same behemoth, with over 300, almost 330K in behemoths for T10 Marauders. So, it's a very strong formation, even though that number's low. So you kind of have to dig in a little bit. So let's take a look at each formation real quick, just to run through the entire schedule. We have a Barbarian focus formation, and it is split very well, with the heroes being Guardians and Warriors. We have a Barbarian formation with Guardians and Warriors. We have a Behemoth with Marauders and Raiders. Obviously, the Queens are going to win that one. We have a Behemoth, and we have some Guardians and some Behemoths. Do we have any Raiders? A few Raiders. So Barbarian focused with Barbarian and Warrior, or Guardian and Warriors, with a little bit of Marauder support. We have Behemoth focused, 348K, with a few Raiders. Look at Scuba. Okay. So this is a formation you don't see a lot as of yet. And it's the Crista Rex, the Triceratops, and the Keto Rex. And it's supposed to be rider specific. But let me break it down a little bit, jumping over to the beasts. So with the Crista Rex right here, you have the Barbarian defense with the rider attack. So it leaves you a little bit short on rider stats when you're setting up the Crista Rex. Now we have the Keto Rex, which is the other one right here. And again, this one is set for a Barbarian / rider attack. So if you pair Crista Rex with Keto Rex, you have a split on, they're both focused on rider attack, and then one is focused on Barbarian defense, the other is focused on Barbarian attack. And then the last part of that was Triceratops, which the Triceratops is a rider specific both in attack and defense. So I would say that the formation for this right here needs to be balanced if you're going to use it appropriately, which is the defense of the Guardians, and then you're going to have the attack of the Warriors, and then you're going to have a higher attack from the Riders. So I would expect to see those three key in that formation to be truly set up for its hero types. As you can see right now, they don't have any Warriors, so they're missing out on the attack of the Keto Rex. So that's my review of this squad. So this is a 5-star Kong, 5-star Demon Rex. So they are strictly Barbarian focused, and as you can see here, they're very heavy in their Barbarian guards and warriors for that setup. And again, we're seeing the Crimson Keto Triceratops setup, and again, missing out on the Keto Rex warrior attack. All right, I would say this is the second strongest team. We've gone against them in EOC quite a bit, and JJ Pops, Leroy Jenkins, and Wag Sax, they are not nearly as strong as the Queens, but they are very strong. So let's take a look at Leroy. Leroy is running a Behemoth. This number right here, the 439K, is one of the higher ones you'll see. Basically, anything over 430, you start to get in that elite area. Marauder specific. JJ Pops is running the same, and see it's heavy, 430K. And we have a Barbarian, and this one is 442K, and it's 5-star, 5-star, and 4-star, and it's a heavy hitter. These guys hit hard. All right, and they're going up against 400. Yeah, so definitely gonna. The Savages are gonna take that one. We're seeing a Barbarian, 4 stars all the way across. We're seeing this one is unique. Basically, you're an archer specific. So with these 3 dinosaurs all at 4 stars. Oh, we got a 3-star Luminarian right there. But you have the archer formation with this one, and it's done pretty well. We've not been able to beat it with our squad. And then you have Behemoth. Okay. Carrots. They're running Behemoth. 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 So this number here is pretty big. 430K in Behemoths. That's a lot of Behemoths, and they will crush a ton of Barbarians. The A-Team, like I said, is Deceiving. So we already went through them. All right, then we've got the Outlaws. Between JJ Pops and Tattooed Sass, these guys, they're the top 1, 2, 3 bangers. They're strong out there. So let's take a quick look. We got a Behemoth focused. I see some layers. Mostly Guardian and Behemoth Raider layers, but 422K and 368K in Marauders. That's strong. All right, so here's another setup. Like I said, when you go on Rider, you're starting to see Triceratops, and the Triceratops is paired with the Rex and the Saber. I like this formation a lot. I don't personally have my Triceratops up to the level it needs to be, but this one is strong. So you have your Guardians, you have your Vanguard, you have your T9s, and then you layer a little bit inside of it. Okay, next one. Barbarian, all 5 stars across the board. 360K, 140K Guardians, rest are layered. That's strong. Let's see. Triceratops through. All right, so this is a Behemoth, and you're running. I mean, you can see these numbers are big and they're strong, and 700 million, the whole entire team. They're going up against Valhalla. And 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. So YZ is very strong and set up for a ton of Guardians and a ton of Warriors. So this is, in my mindset, this is more defensive because they have more Guardians than they have Warriors. You could probably balance that out a little bit, but I don't know where their stats are and I don't know where their gear is. So those, just a shy of 50% in T9 Warriors might be enough to kill a million troops. You don't know. So that's a good setup right there. Then the Chief. The Chief is a little bit deceiving because we got a 4-star for Barbarian in the Woolly, and then we've got Behemoth. I see this one as the vulnerable one on the team, but they do have high numbers, and they do have a good amount of Warrior and Marauder. But I think it's kind of a formation that's unproven, and I don't feel like it has a specific hero troop set to it. And then we have a 4-star, 4-star, 4-star. This is a Barbarian focused, and it's looking pretty strong. 415k with 250k Warriors. Okay, so we're down to the last 3 brackets. So DMK, basically 582 mil. This formation is vulnerable because you have a 3-star Saber and you have a split between hero types because Saber is Rider specific, and then you've got Kong and Tiger. Tiger goes both ways between Barbarian and Rider. So it does have the set up for Guardians and Warriors along with Vanguard and Riders. So it is set up right for that formation of beasts. It's just a little shy. It's a lower number here at 296k. And like I said, it doesn't have a very strong specific hero type. All right, 405k, and it's set for Riders. And it does look good for that setup. And then this one is a Behemoth. It does have 356k in its squad capacity, and it is set to run very strong. It does have a few Warriors and a few Vanguard in there, but the strength comes right here. All right, so let's take a look at Sinners. All right, 5-star, 5-star, 4-star, 360k, 416k squad. It's pretty damn strong. Let's take a look at Jester real quick. Jester is running a Behemoth focused, and it is set up with nice layers and a good amount of T10 Marauders. We have another Behemoth formation, and the stars are low, but the XP is high, and it is set with decent layers to be a very strong formation. 382k with 309 BNT 10 Marauders. So this entire team is a Behemoth focused team. So should cut through a lot of Barbarians, should hold up pretty well. It probably will not take the tournament knowing who's in it, but it is, I would say, going to do pretty well against DMK. I am personally betting on Sinners. And the reason why I'm betting on the Sinners is because of these mixed formations. So that's where my money went, is on the Sinners. All right, Phoenix. And you have a setup of Barbarian, which looks strong. You have a Behemoth, which looks strong. These archers are a little suspect to me. And then you have, a massive, strong 415k in Marauders. So that's a strong setup, and they're going up against the Warlords. I have found this number to be deceiving for their total power. And I will explain total power at the end of this schedule review, so hang in there. So you have a behemoth focused, you have a barbarian focused, and you have a barbarian focused. Okay, so 402 barbarian focused. So barbarians will kill riders. So you have 2 rider killers, all right, and then you have a barbarian killer. So depending on who's running riders, they're suspect to this formation. All right, and then let's jump into here. 5-star, 4-star, 4-star. Demon Rex and Kong are barbarian specific, with the Rex being rider specific. So I see this being right in line. It's a little bit low here, which makes it vulnerable to a behemoth only formation. Doesn't have enough riders in it to combat that, but it's a very decent setup. Then there's Shooter. Shooter is strong as hell, running a behemoth focused formation with a ton of T10 Marauders. Not very layered, doesn't have to be, because that is a ton of troops right there. And then we've got another behemoth strong formation, and they're going up against the leaders of my clan. Basically Willis, which is a behemoth focused, which is Goddess Athena is a behemoth focused, and Demon Rex is also using his behemoth focused. So great numbers, great review. Gives you the insight to several different formations that are really strong. And like I said, I wanted to discuss the how these numbers work right here, the total power. Now, when you're working up your total power, it's this number here, all right? And that number can be misleading if people know how to adjust it properly. So inside of your beasts, you obviously have your relics. So if I strip all my relics off of beasts that I'm not using, all right, that actually will drop my number down. The beasts that you use in the Crown of Glory, they need to have their relics. And your power of your entire TC really does not matter when you go into the COG. And the things that do matter are your relics for your chief, are the relics for your beasts, and some of the buffs. So basically, you need to buff with your Battle Frenzy. You need to buff with your attack buff, your defensive buff, and your enemy decrease buffs. And you also need to use your squad capacity boost. Once you create your first formation and you put it into the COG, it is locked in. Those buffs are only good for a certain amount of time, but once you lock them in and you are inside of the preliminary tournament, those buffs don't fall off once the timer's there. They're locked in. So you need to buff up to go into the COG. And if you adjust your formation, you need to rebuff up and make sure you're at your maximum buffs. It's just at this point in the gameplay, to have any true impact on your abilities to participate in the COG, you need to be using your buffs. Okay, guys, that was a review of the entire COG process, and I find it very beneficial when I start to break down the troops and the formations that I'm battling against. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'm on YouTube, I'm on Facebook, you can even find me in game. All right, guys, hope you're having an awesome day. And oh, just before I go, the wager shop. The wager shop is your coins that you receive from your preliminary performance. You can use these to buy your resources, or you can also use them to bet. I'm using them to bet on certain people that I believe. I'm not maxing out. I'm just using a little bit so I can increase my wager winnings, and hopefully this helps you make more resources and makes you stronger. All right, I'm Jay, GXP. I'm out.